Hey everybody, how's it going? Nexius here, and today we are running Nightmare Mephisto on Players 1 100 times. So you guys are going to get to see the results here from an early on sorceress, only 150 magic find thanks to some of the items I found on my Nightmare and Doriel. My mercenary is tanky thanks to the shaft stop as well as the meat scraper I found. So Nightmare Meph is nice and easy for me, super fast runs. So with the first run here on run number 8, we found ourselves a Razor Switch. Not that great of a weapon unless you have no Spirit Sword, since no ladder, but I have a Spirit Sword with an Ancient's Pledge, so Razor Switch is no use to me. On run 10 here, we found ourselves a Lidless Wall. Again, I prefer Ancient's Pledge here with the Spirit Sword, but it's still a pretty nice shield nonetheless. On the next run here, run 11, we find ourselves a rare Gilded Shield, which could have been a hose, which is unfortunate. I figure that's worth mentioning. We do find ourselves a nice Gold Wrap, though, which is very good for magic finding, but I already have one. And I also find some decent rare boots if you don't have any decent ones early on. But either way, so far these runs, the first 11 runs have been very, very nice in terms of what's dropping. On run 13 here, we find ourselves some Mav Gloves, which are pretty decent if you're a physical damage dealing character. The strength index is quite nice, and if you're collecting Mavs for your Amazon. Now, many runs later, on 26, we find ourselves 3 uniques, none of them useful, but 3 uniques I think is worth mentioning on a single kill. On the next run here, we find ourselves a melee weapon known as Moonfall. It isn't that great, to be honest, but if you don't have a good weapon this early on as like a barb or something, I think it's worth mentioning. And the very next run, 35 here, we find ourselves Basil's Vortex, another decent melee weapon, and also a very, very nice shield, which I love a lot, especially on hardcore, which this is not, by the way, is the Moses Blessed Circle. Pop 2 perfect diamonds in there, and you get at least 60 resistances on that shield. It's huge going into hell mode. Now, the very next run, 2 runs later, on 37 here, we have a Talrash's Mask. Very nice for the mercenary. As a sorceress, not that big of a deal. Also good for melee characters for that life leech, mana leech, resistances, life mana. It's a really good helmet. On run 43, Spire of Honor. Again, really good if you're a Whirlwind Barb here, the extra range, the high damage, as well as a 2 War Cries rare amulet. So really good pole arm there. Very nice also for the mercenary. On the next run, we find ourselves another nice melee weapon, the Butcher's Pupil. This is a popular item back in the day. I remember a lot of people liked this item. I would see it often when I would normal bail. And then now continuing on all the way to 52, we find ourselves, I believe, a triple unique again, as well as a Spell Steal, which has teleport charges on it. But nowadays, I just buy a teleport staff from normal Act 3. And going on to run 54 is a very nice drop here, a Titans if you're an Amazon. The only issue is that I can never seem to find Ethereal Titan's Revenge. It's always non-eth, as you guys can clearly see. But either way, Titans is a nice drop this early on. You got to be farming Nightmare Meph for gear before you go into Hell mode, and Titans is quite nice for that example. Now, going on here, I wanted to show you guys a nice rare circle here. I usually don't have too much luck with circlets, but it's actually quite nice. Source Skills with Res. Now, going on to run 63 here, Butcher's Pupil drops again. So if you were a Frenzy Barb here, you would be having the time of your life, really. Double Butcher's Pupil. Very nice. On run 64 here, we find ourselves some Alder Boots, which has 3 of the set now. Now we just need the armor, which will be found later in Hell mode. Very nice life and fire resistances and high run walk on that. I will be definitely using those later if I don't want to use Magic Find. Now, on run 66, we find ourselves Death Bit. Only useful if you're like a Throw Barb, but the Duriel Shell is the real big drop here. If you're looking for Cannot Be Frozen on a melee character so you don't have your attack speed affected, or your mercenary armor, that's really good for them as well. Now, moving on here on run 70, we find ourselves another triple unique drop on a single kill, and a Galaim's Helm, which is good for the mercenary to help kill bosses, as well as for my Smiter Uberdin later on as well. So I'll be sure to remember keeping that in the stash. Now, on run 72, I wanted to note this 30 Cold Res Grand Charm, because if you're preparing for Hell mode by farming Nightmare Mephisto, a Res Charm is quite nice going into Hell mode. And then again here we have on 76 a Rib Cracker, another nice melee weapon. A lot of melee weapons have been dropping for me on Nightmare Andy and Nightmare Meph, which is pretty nice because melee characters definitely need the help. And to know that Nightmare Meph and Andy are really good for this is quite nice. And as you guys can see, another Titans dropped on run 77. And on run 85 here, another triple unique drop. And of course 92, we have the Tear Haunch here. Nice res, stats. Overall, pretty good if you're hammered in, also very nice as well. Moving on here to 93, Sazabi's Helm. These clips are going very fast. I want to explain each item so much because I'm used to giving guides and stuff and information to new players, but I just have to keep reminding myself I'm just here to show you guys the highlights of what's dropping. My guide mode keeps kicking in. So as you guys can see here, after the Sazabi's Helm on 93, we get to 97 and we found a big boy bone snap. This is something barbs love to find. You can find this on Nightmare and Dariel as well, which I did in the previous video. And the real reason I'm here, besides a Moser's Blessed Circle, is the Viper Magi. I found one on run 99. Almost the last run of this series. I'm so glad I found that. Better late than never. So awesome to find. And on run 100 here, Galaim's Face and a rare amulet, which turns out to be pretty decent, with 2 to cold skills. So overall, the Nightmare Mephisto runs have been really good, actually. I do have a previous video running it as well. I think I also did a Players 8 one, unless it was Hell mode. But either way, Nightmare Mephisto is one of the best places to magic find if you cannot handle Hell mode yet. So if you're looking for any good gear, you might have noticed some here for your Amazon, your Barb, your Shapeshifting Druid. Many items here are quite good for all of these different types of classes. So, yeah, again, if you're struggling with Hell mode, Nightmare Mephisto and arguably Nightmare and Dariel can drop you some very nice items. So overall, here's the results of what I found in the stash here. I do hope you guys enjoy this series. If you want to see a different boss, or maybe on Players 3 or something like that, don't be afraid to leave a suggestion down below. Let me know what you guys thought, and hopefully I'll see you guys on my next video. I will be making many, many more, whether it's guides or more Magic Find series videos, as you guys just watched, and Dariel, etc. So check them out, guys. I'll see you next time. Thanks.